mushroom farm, and today we're going to be making a mushroom and mache flatbread. And I'm going to be using the creminis and buttons that come from our farm, and you can probably pick them up at your local Central Market or Fiesta and some Walmarts. So I've already wiped these off and gotten them ready, and we're going to go ahead and start on our dough. Which I'm using a KitchenAid. You could absolutely do it by hand. That's entirely up to you. But in the essence of time, and it's here, I'm using this. So I've got a mixture of whole wheat and AP flour, just regular, that I put together in this bowl, and it's a 1.5 cup each. And I'm going to go ahead and put it in the bowl. This is a very, very easy dough. With a pinch of salt on one side of the bowl. 2 pinches of salt. And we are going to put 2 teaspoons of yeast on the other side. Okay. Start your mixer. And then add a cup of hot water. And by hot, I just mean warm to your touch. Not scalding hot, not boiling hot, but just so that it feels like the same temperature as your body. And then I'm going to put in a couple tablespoons of olive oil. And I like to use the organic olive oil, but again, that's a preference and an availability issue. So we're going to let that go for just a little bit. We don't want this dough to have too much structure, so it won't take very long at all. And as you can see why that's going, we've got a couple of wonderful things that we're going to put on it besides our fantastic mushrooms. We've got some fresh chiffonade of basil. We've got some chopped rosemary, all fresh from the garden. Some pine nuts that are going to give it a really nice aromatic flavor, mozzarella, parmesan, and then Alfredo sauce. We're going to bring this all together along with a little ricotta. Okay, alright. Now that that's all together, I'm going to take it out. And if you're wearing jewelry at this point, it's a good time to take it off, unless you choose to be picking dough out of your rings for the next 5 years. Believe me, I know. So I'm going to just take this dough and work it a little bit more on the counter. Not too terribly much. It really doesn't need flour. It'll come right off because of the olive oil. Okay. Then I'm just going to let that take a little nap so it's not so hard to deal with. And then we'll go on to the rest of everything. So we'll put this up. Set that aside, and we'll get to the good stuff. We'll get to the mushrooms. Alright, so we're just going to do a quick slice. I'm not even going to take the stem off, but I am going to do these fairly fine, fairly thin. Okay, see? So, not paper thin, but just not very thick. Alright. You want to do about a ½ pound of mushrooms. And remember, when you're cutting this fast and this thin, make sure you tuck your fingers. Okay. This is a good time to show you guys a kitchen tip. When your board is moving around under you like that, just get a damp cloth. Put it underneath, put your board on top, and it won't move anymore. Making sure that you don't have any accidents like I was about to have. Alright, so now we're going to do some buttons. These are both wonderful, wonderful, very versatile mushrooms that you could actually put on anything. They're wonderful when they're mixed together with this basil and this rosemary. This Alfredo sauce. The Alfredo sauce that I'm using, well, I have a confession to make. I totally cheated and went ahead and used a good jar of Alfredo sauce, which you can do as long as you feel it's a good product. I say use it in the name of time, but if you have the time and you want to do it, make your own Alfredo sauce jar, keep it in the fridge and use that. But I couldn't tell a lie. This is not mine. So, We have our mushrooms, we have our basil. You can tell this is just a chiffonade where you roll it all together so it looks like a cigar and then slice it. We have all of this ready to roll. And we are going to now put a little flour on both sides. And you could be creative. You could be a pizzeria and start to pull and push like they do, or you could also put it on a pan with a rolling pin. But we'll do a little bit of both. Now, like I said, you can put it on a cookie sheet and use a rolling pin, and that's what we're going to do for the remainder of this. I have found a pizza stone, which is absolutely wonderful. I'm feeling very spoiled today, but you could just as easily use a cookie sheet. But on a cookie sheet, I will advise you to put just a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of maybe some cornmeal so it doesn't stick. This stone will not. So I'm just going to make this very thin. Remember, this is not thick crust pizza, this is flatbread. So you really don't want this to get a whole lot of rise. So I'm going to say maybe it's, you know, maybe like a 1/16 of an inch thick. Really not much, and I'll show. Okay, I mean thin. And that's a beautiful thing about a flatbread. It doesn't have to be round, it doesn't have to be perfect. Its perfection is in its imperfection. So shape it however you like it. This is really fun to be able to do with the kids, and they can make whatever shape flatbread they want. Alright, so this is where I'm going to add my Fake is Fine Alfredo sauce. Okay, give it a little hit. Not a lot. Remember, you don't have a lot of dough, so you don't want a lot of sauce. This is almost like a white pizza, really. In fact, that's exactly what it is. I love this one because this is like eating pizza and salad all together, because when we're all done, we'll put this beautiful mache on top with some reduced balsamic vinegar. Okay. I've got my saute pan, and I've got it on medium-high. I've hit it with about, I don't know, a tablespoon and a half of olive oil. And now I'm going to put in our mushrooms. And I just want to get these a little bit soft because mushrooms have a lot of moisture in them. And I don't have a lot of dough on that flatbread, so I don't want it to get soggy. So I want to go ahead and leach it all out now. Give it a tablespoon of garlic, maybe a tablespoon and a half. That smells good. I'm going to give it a little bit of pepper. Pinch of salt. Beautiful. You know what? I love using mushrooms on my flatbread because I can substitute out part of the meat, give it some good hearty texture and flavor, but I don't take the hit on cholesterol and calories. Okay. You can see them. They're nice, lightly sauteed, soft, and beautiful. Okay. So, I don't want to take away all of the meat because, well, frankly, because I like it. But I also want to give it a little bit of spice, and today I'm going to do that through some really hot deli pepperoni that I've had sliced super thin. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to roll it up just like I did with the basil. I'm going to cut it into thin strips. You can put on as much or as little as you like. That's entirely up to you. I'm just going to kind of sprinkle it over our flatbread. Haphazardly, if you will. A little Jackson Pollock flatbread doing. Splatter here, splatter there. Okay. Oh, this is going to be good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get our mushrooms, which are still pretty warm, so be careful. You could let them cool all the way. Neither here nor there. And again, you want to spread these out. Make sure everybody gets a bite of mushroom and everybody gets a bite of the pepperoni. But really, make sure everybody gets a bite of the mushroom. At this point, I'm also going to preheat the oven to 400. And here we go with the fun stuff. I've got my ricotta cheese, and I've got 3 heaping tablespoons. And I've got about a tablespoon, give or take, of my chopped rosemary, and I'm going to go ahead and add that in. Just mix it together. And then I'm just going to start dropping it. Again, try to be even-handed. Such a nice, fresh, light alternative to pizza. All right, and then I've got about a cup of mozzarella. I'm going to put it on. And I'm going to hit it also with my beautiful fresh basil. Now you have to admit, that looks pretty darn good. All right. A little bit more mozzarella. Hit it with some pine nuts, but I really love pine nuts. They just add the little something extra. Something different. All right, well, oven's ready, and we're going to go ahead and put this in for about 10-15 minutes. So your cheese is nice and melty and your crust is nice and golden brown. It'll be done. Let's check. Oh, yeah. That, my friends, is good looking. Mmm. Nice thin crust, almost like a cracker. Mmm, but better. Ah, good. Yum, folks. Yum. All right, we're ready. So I'm gonna get a little piece of my pizza, and I've gotten a little mache salad, which, you know, just kind of microgreens, and I made hit it with some reduced balsamic vinegar. You could also, like I said before, you could do it with some truffle oil or truffle essence if you had it, which would be just killer. So I'm going to take this and put it on top. All right, folks, well, here's our mushroom flatbread. I hope you enjoy. And remember, everything's better with mushrooms.